Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to be servicing this Audi TT RS. So if you want to see how to reset the service light and the service indicator, watch my other video which will be in the description below. Okay, so now we're moving on to the parts we need. So we need some oil that's approved for your particular vehicle. For this one it's a 530. Then you need an oil filter. You'll need a new sump plug or a sump plug washer, whichever you choose. But the oil is more critical. You need a genuine type of oil. So moving on, we need a small ratchet set, some Torx bits, T25, T30 and T40 to remove the under tray bolts. Sometimes you might notice that if it's been replaced, you might need a 13 or a 12 mm. This just depends if it's been changed within its service life. But factory fitted, they need Torx bits. Then you need a torque wrench, a couple of torque wrenches, one for the oil filter housing and the other for the sump plug, and the other if you want to torque down your under tray. You need a 19 mm socket, and the drain plug is torqued down to 30 Newton meters. The oil filter housing, you need a 76 mm 14 flute tool. This is torqued down to 25 newtons plus 5 Newton meters, and you also need this drain adapter if you want to utilize this tool to drain the oil filter housing. And as normal, don't forget your safety gear, your gloves and your oil container to catch the oil in. Once you have everything ready, you can drive the vehicle on ramps or you can jack it up, whatever is more convenient for you. Next we'll open up the hood and we'll go underneath the vehicle and show you where the under trays would normally be. So this is where the under trays are. I've already taken it off and I'll show you that in the next clip. So this is the steel under tray, and next is the plastic under tray. So you want to start by removing the plastic under tray first, held on by those bolts at the top there and at the side and at the bottom there. So take that off first, and then you want to take off the metal under tray. So just with the Torx bits that I showed you earlier. Now coming underneath to the oil filter housing, you want to unscrew the little cap that covers up the drain for the oil filter housing. So when we unscrew that, that's when you can attach the tool that I showed you earlier, and you can drain it into your oil pan. But unfortunately my tool didn't arrive in time, so I had to work with the alternative method. So just by opening up the oil filter housing, I used a plastic sheet just behind the oil filter housing so it doesn't get anywhere near the engine block or any of the wiring, as you can see here. So I just use that and let the oil drain. So I cracked open the housing a little bit, let the oil drain into the drain pan and then opened it. Once that's completed, then I opened up the drain plug for the sump and you just let that drain. So this will take about 15 minutes or so, and when you come to the top, make sure you pull up your dipstick and open up your oil cap so it drains out a bit quicker. So when you have the oil filter removed, the oil filter housing, just pull the oil filter out like so. Take note of the O-ring in there with the tab. See how the tab is up the top? This tab here. See how the tab is facing up the top? Just take note of that. You want to get in there with the pick and just pull that out. Give it a good clean on the outside and everything. Make sure there's no cracks on it. Just inspect all of that. It uses a 76 14 flute oil filter tool. The TTSs use the 36. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you can use a set of nose pliers and just grab that notch over there and it just pulls out like so. And just remember it goes in like this, so if you're looking at it, that's how it goes in, not with the tab facing down, the tab facing up. So with the new O-ring, just lubricate it with some oil. Then just slot it in place like so. Make sure you get the tab up, facing up. So you can always refer to that if you need to. So once you got that in place, take your new filter over here. Make sure your new filter's got the O-rings here at the top. One at the top here, one at the bottom. Just check it as well. We should click in like so. And you can pre-fill it a little bit, which we'll do later, but you can pre-fill this because it's underneath the vehicle and then reinstall it. That just assists when you initially start it to build up the oil pressure. You might notice in the video my adapter tool for the oil filter housing says Mercedes-Benz on it. That's because this particular tool is used for various vehicles. Porsches also use it. The 76mm 14 flute oil tool is quite a common oil filter adapter. Right. No, I need to talk that down.
So use a torque wrench and torque it down.
To 25 Newton meters, as mentioned earlier. Once you got your new sump plug installed, tighten up by hand and then just torque it down to 30 Newton meters. Clean up your whole area, and if you're the type of person who marks stuff, you can mark it down as well. When you're ready to fill your engine oil, make sure you measure up what came out of the vehicle. So all the drained oil, measure that first so you have a good indication of what exactly came out, so you can fill it to the exact amount as long as it was correct prior to draining it out. And you can go ahead and fill in your VW or Audi approved oil. You'll notice that the dipstick is up while we're filling the oil. This just assists the oil to fill in a bit easier. So once you're completed filling up your oil, make sure you put your oil cap back in, tighten that, put your dipstick back in, make sure you got the right fluid level, check for any leaks anywhere from the oil filter housing or from the drain. Once you establish that there's nothing leaking, so start it and do not rev it for at least 15 to 20 seconds. Let the oil pressure build up, otherwise you run the risk of damaging one of the bearings or similar. So that's a key note with all these turbocharged vehicles. It's quite important. Once you're established everything's okay, then you can rev it up or take it for a drive. Make sure there's no leaks, like I said. Put the under trays back on and you're good to go from there. Watch my other video if you want to see on how to reset the oil service light for this particular vehicle. Thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.